In Advaita Vedanta or non-duality, how we reach the ultimate realization by discovering ourselves, our true selves, which is pure consciousness, right? Pure consciousness is the true self, it is the ultimate reality as well. And that is something that I call jokingly as the selfish path. We all are selfish, right? We are all concerned with ourselves. So it makes sense to know who we truly are, right? And that eventually leads to the discovery of knowing ourselves as pure consciousness. But there is another way to come to the same realization, and that is by knowing the world around us. Knowing the world around us. It's in moments where your gaze is relaxed, right? You're gazing at the world around you, and in moments of relaxation, you might think, what is this world that I see around me? What is the truth of it? It keeps changing, it appears differently to different creatures. What is the truth of it? And Advaita Vedanta deals with such inquiry in a beautiful way. It tells us of the three layers of reality. The three layers of reality. The first, or the outermost layer, is called the Pratibhasik Satya. Pratibhasik Satya, or illusory reality. So if I show you an apple, and ask you, what do you think about the apple? Do you like apples? You might say, yes, I love apples. But your friend may not like the apple, right? So saying that apples are good or apples are bad is sort of stupid, isn't it? The goodness or badness is not the quality of the apple. The goodness or badness of the apple is superimposed on it by your thoughts, right? By your thoughts, your past experiences. So apple really is not good or bad. It's just a pratibhas, as they say. Pratibhas just means a feeling, what you feel about a certain thing. So the goodness or badness is not the reality of the apple. An apple is just an apple, right? So that is the first layer that we get engaged in and we take very seriously, the illusory layer, or Pratibhasik Satya. And once we are able to look past that layer, we are now in a position to discover the second layer. The second layer is Vyavaharika Satya, or transactional reality. I just like to call it the physical reality, the physicality of the apple. And as we've discussed countless times before, the physicality also appears differently to different people, right? An apple looks like a round object to you, but to a fish, it will look slightly more rounder than it looks to you. And to some other creatures that don't have eyes, they experience the apple with their different senses. Like I often tell you of a bat, how it experiences through echoes and frequencies. Also, a dog sees an apple in a very different dull color. The color is not the bright red that it appears to your eyes. It appears slightly grayish to the dog. So the physicality of the apple is also an illusion, right? Its shape is not fixed, its color is not fixed. It appears differently to different creatures, right? And that is the physical layer, the Vyavaharik Satya, or transactional reality. And transactional just means interfacing with it. We can physically hold it. We think of it to be real, right? We have a transaction with it, with our senses, purely our senses. The first layer was directly with the mind, right? What we feel about the apple. The second layer is more to do with the senses, right? The senses, they sense it in a certain way, a certain shape, a certain color, a certain rigidity, and it appears differently to different creatures. Different creatures perceive it differently. So that is also not the reality of the apple. And if this is not the reality, then what is? What is? We've stripped the apple off of our feelings about it. We've stripped the apple off of its physicality. What is left of the apple? What's left is probably just the name, right? Just the name, apple, and the concept that we hold in our mind. And the concept and the name is also just a past experience which we've had through our senses. And if you come to think about it, the apple is just shown to us because of our senses, just our senses. The apple is not separate from the air around it. We've just labeled parts of existence as air, as apple, the table that it is resting on. There's no separation in existence. It's just one undivided reality. And that is the final layer. The final layer is Paramarthik Satya, or absolute reality. And in the absolute reality, there is no separation at all. It is undivided and has no qualities. That is the Nirguna Brahma, the ultimate reality without any qualities, no qualities at all. When I understood these three layers of reality years ago, for the next few weeks, I was classifying everything as a certain layer of reality. And I would get my grip again on the realization that it is all one undivided reality. So these three layers, what we feel about a certain thing, and then what we sense about a certain thing, and finally, there is no separate thing at all. It is all just one undivided reality. Personally, this has been one of the most helpful frameworks that I've used myself to understand the reality of the world around me. And truly, there is not much to understand here. It is just a realization that there is no separation in existence at all. And you can really, really derive it all the time, even in your experience. I would really ask you to classify every experience into these three layers of reality, and it will change your perspective. It will alter your perspective for the better. I generally say I hope this helps someone, but this time I'm pretty sure this will help anyone who tries to use it in their actual life. This is one of the most helpful Nidhi Dhyasan techniques. Nidhi Dhyasan just means when you've understood something philosophically or mentally, but in your experience you try to see the reality of it. Basically, it's the practice of what you've learned intellectually in actual experience. So do try to apply it to your life and see what it does to your perception and experience.